Saki and the Summer Illusion. In a small country town, Saki, a third-year high school student, was walking to school. Along the street, bright summer flowers were blooming. Pink crepe myrtles and white rows of Sharon flowers caught her eye.
I wish all the exams would end soon,
she whispered, but loud cicadas drowned out her voice. Old fancy houses lined the street to school. Saki liked this nostalgic view. Many houses had storehouses, but one big storehouse had a beautiful Japanese red pine tree next to it.
I should start studying for entrance exams soon,
she said to the tree, spotting a cicada on its beautiful, shiny trunk. A train crossing bell was ringing in the distance.
Good morning.
She greeted her classmates at the small, old high school. She sat by the window, thinking.
But what comes after getting into college?
It was summer of her last high school year, and she couldn't help wondering about her future.
I'll see you. Take care.
Let's meet in the new term.
On the last day before summer break, Saki walked home alone in the heat. Almost all the students headed to the station to take trains. As a few students on bicycles passed her by, she couldn't help feeling restless and unsatisfied alone. The train crossing bell rang faintly in the distance again.
Saki, are you studying properly?
Her mom asked this every day during summer break. One day, Saki suddenly left home. She packed some textbooks in her backpack. After all, she was a student preparing for entrance exams.
I want to go somewhere new.
She thought. On a whim, she got on a train she didn't usually take. She decided to head towards the sea.
I'll get off at any unknown station,
she decided. After being rocked by the train for a while, it stopped at a station with a pretty building. Saki got off, drawn to it. Outside the station, she saw a big, brand new city. The station was on a hill, and she could even see the sea far away. She walked a bit and found an old castle site, but across the street, there were beautiful new Western-style houses. Amazed by this strange mix, Saki wandered around the unknown city.
Oh, is that a library?
Saki forgot her worries as she walked. The library looked like a Western castle. Feeling a bit guilty for leaving home, she decided to study there. In front of the library was a big fountain spraying water high into the air. With beautiful green trees all around, it was like a dream garden. Suddenly, through the mist of water droplets, she noticed a boy looking at the fountain from the other side. He seemed about her age and carried a backpack like her.
Maybe he's here to study too,
she thought. Saki walked around the fountain towards this mysterious boy on her way to the library.
Welcome,
he suddenly said. Saki was surprised and looked at his face. His eyes were as blue as the deep sea.
Huh?
She thought. Although he had a kind expression, Saki's heart beat fast.
What does he mean?
She stood there for a moment, unable to speak.
Does he know I'm from far away? Or was he just greeting me because I got close to him?
The boy had a mysterious, captivating air about him. His name was Sho. Saki wondered if he had also left his home just like her. Saki told him she had left home worried about upcoming entrance exams. Sho looked into her eyes and nodded, smiling, seeming to calm her down with a warm atmosphere. They both had study materials in their bags, so they entered the library together. Sho, who said he liked coming here, just kept studying quietly. With Sho next to her, Saki had no choice but to study too. Sometimes when she peeked at him working hard, he smiled back, making her feel better, though he seemed somewhat fragile. They promised to study together at the library again. They met every day after that. They hadn't exchanged contact info yet. They just met at the fountain at a certain time every day. And after studying in the library, they walked around the city until sunset. It was like a dream. Sho's face seemed to get brighter and livelier each day as he showed her around.
I can study so much with you around, Sho.
Saki said.
Really? That's great.
He replied. Saki and Sho visited many places in the city. From the old castle site near the station, they could see the whole seaside city.
What a beautiful city,
Saki said. But she noticed Sho looking a bit sad as he gazed at the city. Does he worry about the future too? Saki wondered, talking about her own worries about the future to him. He listened carefully to everything she said. Talking with him made her think that even these worries might be an important and wonderful part of life. She even felt like he was a gift of summer. As summer break got closer to its end, Sho seemed to get further away when saying goodbye. One day, he suddenly said,
Come at night tomorrow. Can you?
Saki's heart skipped a beat, and she asked why. He said there was something he wanted to show her. He seemed to have his favorite view. On the train ride home, Saki started to think about showing him her own town someday.
Would he like it?
She wondered with a warm heart. Taking the train to that city at night was exciting. Getting off at the familiar station, the beautiful city looked fresh again. What Sho wanted to show her was rice terraces. After walking up a dark mountain path, Saki gasped at the magical view from a hill. The rice terraces spread out in layers. The water in them looked mesmerizingly clear. Moreover, the moon in the sky reflected on the clear water, making all the terraces sparkle. Sho was smiling happily, looking at both the moon in the sky and in the water. Seeing Sho's lively, happy face made Saki feel relieved. His presence quietly changed her world that summer, making her last year of high school more vivid. That night, they promised to meet again someday soon and waved goodbye in front of the station.
Sho, come to my town someday too.
Saki said, waving big. But she felt Sho looked a little sad.
Is his family strict or something?
She wondered on her way home, because Sho didn't really talk about himself or his family. As the new school term started, Saki went back to her busy days again. Sometimes she almost forgot about the dreamlike events in that dreamlike city. But every time she looked out from the school window, the memories of those days came back very vividly. Saki studied harder than before after meeting Sho. Though she still worried about the future, just thinking about meeting him again filled her with hope. She got excited, thinking about what to tell Sho next time they met, whenever she experienced new things at school. As school life went on, the cicadas disappeared completely from the town. The pink crepe myrtles and rows of Sharon flowers along the street had all turned to leaves. Only the red pine tree stood unchanged. One day, after finally deciding her future college, Saki saw an old lady near the big tree for the first time. The lady seemed to live in that house. They nodded to each other. The old lady had a quiet, neat appearance. Saki couldn't help saying she loved the red pine tree to her. The old lady smiled happily hearing this.
How nice that such a young person is interested in Japanese pine trees,
she said. Seeing Saki's school uniform, she told her about her son, who was Saki's age decades ago. He went to a boarding high school in a nearby city. Since her son left home to go to boarding school, she'd been lonely and talked to the red pine every day.
Oh, is your son doing well now?
Saki asked. The old lady looked sad and stayed quiet. Saki didn't ask more and left after bowing.
Maybe he doesn't come home much, or something.
Saki thought. She felt happy that her future path was set, and she could work hard for a little longer until her entrance exam. On a weekend, when she finally had time, Saki took the train to that station again. Even though the trees had turned yellow and orange, the magnificent Japanese red pine next to that big storehouse still stood the same.
Finally, I'm going to see you now.
She told the big tree. Getting off at the fancy station building after months, she went through the ticket gate. And there, out of the station, she saw a completely different, unknown view. The familiar city she had expected was nowhere to be seen, replaced by a totally unfamiliar landscape. Saki rubbed her eyes. She looked back and forth between the station and the unfamiliar town. She walked around.
This can't be.
She ran here and there, looking everywhere to see the city which she remembered. But no matter where or how much she walked, the beautiful seaside city was nowhere to be found.
Where? Where is that library? Where's Sho?
The city where she spent time with Sho had vanished without a trace, like an illusion. Saki tried getting off at nearby stations too, but she couldn't find that city anywhere. Tired out, she went home and fell asleep. She was walking to high school. The wind felt a bit cooler now. A faint train crossing bell was ringing in the distance. Even as the season went by, Saki felt like Sho was always with her. She couldn't help thinking that the city and Sho must exist somewhere. The memories of that one summer were still clear in her heart. Then, at the moment she passed her favorite beautiful red pine, she thought she saw Sho standing next to it. She looked closely, but Sho wasn't there.
Where are you? Where have you gone?
She said as she passed by.
I want to know too.
The old lady's voice came from the tree's shade. Saki stopped and bowed slightly.
I keep hoping he's somewhere too.
The lady said.
Huh?
Did you decide on your future school?
Oh, yes, somehow.
I see. That's good. You might have many thoughts about the future, but do your very best.
And there, for the first time, Saki learned that the lady's son had passed away back then in that distant city. Saki started walking to school again under the bright, sunny autumn sky.
Do your best.
She heard Sho's voice from behind. Saki whispered
Thank you.
and walked on in the cool, fresh autumn breeze. The summer memories still shimmered like an illusion in her heart.